Okay, this video is going to be on how to do a setup for a urine sediment. So I have my urine sample in my test tube. I've already spun this down in the centrifuge. I spun it actually closer to 10 minutes at about 1700 RPM. All of that is in your textbook. So now we take our urine sample out. It's been spun down. Sometimes you can actually see the little chunk in the sediment. In this case, we don't necessarily see that, but we're still going to run on like normal because there is sediment, even if you can't see it. That's how a centrifuge works. So what we're going to do now is just take and dump all of our supernatant. The supernatant is the liquid portion of the liquid sample. Okay, so we're just seriously going to dump it. Okay, I take it to the sink and I dump. So now that you can see, I have a tiny, tiny little bit of liquid still in there where my sediment is at the very bottom. So now I'm just going to kind of flick the bottom of my test tube, and that's going to resuspend any of the sediment at the bottom of that test tube in that tiny, tiny little amount of urine. Okay, so now that I have that, I'm going to take my microscope slide and I'm going to take one drop from this and place it directly onto my slide. Okay, so you really just need one drop, just right on the slide, and you'll put a cover slip on that drop. Okay, and then next, in order to be economical, which is always great practice, we're going to use the same slide that we just used to prepare the stained sediment. So on this side here, I have unstained sediment that I'm going to examine, and on the other side, I'm going to add my stain. So what I have to do for this is, again, with my sediment, I'm going to take one drop of my sediment stain. Some people just call it SETI stain. One drop. And you don't really want to touch these to each other, so kind of over the top, one drop in. Quite a bit came out. That's okay. You're going to resuspend by flicking the bottom of the tube again. We're going to resuspend the sediment, but also make sure everything becomes stained. So then I'm going to go back in and get one drop of that and place it on the other side of my slide. And so now I have on one slide both stained and unstained urine sediment that I can now go and review under the microscope.